on the cameras. Now on the back, like I stated, dual camera setup on the Pixel 5, single camera setup on the iPhone XR. We have a single 12 megapixel wide angle lens on the iPhone XR, whereas on the Pixel 5, we have a 12.2 megapixel wide angle lens and a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now in terms of the UIs and everything, I don't know why it goes down here. You'll pretty much be able to see that they look kind of the same if I'm being honest. You can kind of already see that the Pixel 5's photo looks a little bit brighter. I've always said this and I still believe it. The UI on iPhones are sometimes a little bit smoother, there's like less going on and all that stuff, but on the Androids there's always so many more features, and this is a classic case. We have portrait mode on this phone, but there's really not too many features on the iPhone side, whereas on the Pixel side even, like this isn't even that good for an Android phone, but we still have a lot more capability. There's a lot of camera apps that we can download on both of these, but I'll probably still say when it comes down to the UIs, I kind of like the UI on the iPhone in this case because the Pixel side doesn't really have too many features and it's a little bit clunky. But on something like a Galaxy S20 or something, there are so many features built into that camera that make that way better than both of these. But in terms of both these, I'd probably give the edge to the iPhone. However, in terms of quality and features, it's kind of a little bit of a different story. So the iPhone XR, we still have a lot of capability. The pictures look great, the photo videos look great. We have a 4K at 60 on this camera. Even on the front, we have 1080p at 60, which is good on the 8 megapixel sensor. And I think for the most part, anything you're going to do on the iPhone XR's camera is going to be perfectly okay. I think for 99% of people watching this, if you get an iPhone XR, you're going to be totally okay. But there are some people, and me included, who like having additional sensors. And the fact that this thing only has one sensor is kind of weird. I wish it did have multiple different ones, but it's totally okay. This came out in 2018. It's totally understandable. And that's why I think the Pixel 5 may have an advantage here. This thing has a dual camera setup, so not only can you zoom in, it doesn't really matter that much in the zoom in because there's no telephoto lens on here, but that ultra wide sensor does make it a little bit of a better phone in that category just because you can zoom out more in a photo, more than you could on an iPhone XR, which is really impressive. Now, that's why I think the Pixel 5 may have a little bit of an advantage. This one could still do 4K at 60 and everything just like the XR. However, you do have a little bit of a different camera on the front. You have an 8 megapixel sensor, but it can only do 1080p at 30 versus the iPhone XR's 1080p at 60. So that's another thing. Again, is it a big deal? It's totally up to you, but that is something I would probably consider. So I think the overall camera may be better on the Pixel 5 because of the features and everything, but I still think the quality and everything on the XR is still extremely good as well. So in terms of the camera, that pretty much covers it up.